This is love for another person. While they have hurt you, while they are disappointing you, while they are coming up short, when they aren't earning your love, you love them in the nature of Christ's love. This is where the world starts to change. 2 verses later in verse 10. For since our friendship with God was restored by the death of His Son, while we were still His enemies, we will certainly be saved through the life of His Son. This is what we were made for. We were made to be lovers of people who don't deserve it. It goes against everything we've been taught. For a lot of us, it's the antithesis of how we've been loved. We're treated nicely after we've done something respectful or we've given a gift. See, this is why it's hard for some people. We did the Why the Cross series a few weeks ago. We spent 3 weeks on just addressing the question, why the cross? Why was it necessary? Why did somebody have to die? Why did it have to be so brutal leading up to Easter? You know, there were a couple of conversations that came out where people were, I get this, I understand this logically, emotionally, yeah, I guess it's meaningful, I don't know. And see, the reason that disconnect still happens is because we define love as a noun. We see that, well, I'm a good person, so it makes sense that God would come for me. I mean, I try hard. I try to be nice to my neighbors. And the truth is, we are broken in sin. And in that state of being opposed to God, being His enemy, He still came for us. In compassion, and giving us second chances, and cheering us on. This is what we were made to be to the people around us. And I'm telling you, you can hear this as a pastor, and this is what a pastor is supposed to say, and you can hear this as your friend who's lived the opposite, and now I'm living more of what's right. You do not start living. You don't start living until you step into this world of loving those around you when they're not deserving of it. Okay, so here we are near the end. And I haven't told you the real problem yet. So in the last just couple minutes, here's the real problem. The real problem is we can try all we want. You can be agreeing with me. Yeah, I want to love my children even when they don't deserve it. When it's been a hard week. I want to love my neighbor when they've been kind of stuck up and snobby to me. I don't want that to matter. I want to still be God's love to them. To my spouse, or to my ex. I want to be this example. The problem is we can't. We can't until love gets inside of us. Real love. See, I can see some of us leaving and saying, okay, I'm going to try. This neighborhood's a jerk, and I always blow him off. You know, I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to wave. I'm going to wait for him to come out. I'm going to wave, even though he doesn't deserve it. You know, and there can be moments like that, sure, where we feel like, okay, I'm trying. I got to smile out of it. But it breaks down at some point because it's at some point in that effort you're going to see that you don't have the ability to sustain it. This is where Christ comes in the picture. If you care about living this kind of destiny, living out love to the people around you, if you really care about it, you have to open your heart and your soul to the reality that only Christ can be that. Only He can give and put and implant, embed this kind of love inside of you that's sustained and constant. It grows out of your heart and who you are rather than out of a homework exercise this week. We can try all kinds of practices and exercises. Christ makes us a different person. Christ comes into our soul and begins to recreate us from the inside out. And you wake up one morning and you love the unlovable. And you can't even explain why. You just see in them potential. Rather than all the things you wish you could change, I wish she would do this. I wish she would stop. I wish she would. Instead, you see potential. You see the image of God shining more and more and the potential for that to happen. And you want to make an investment, and you're willing to give up something of yourself that matters so that they can shine more. That's when we start to live. It's what we were made for. It's what you were made for. God, be our power source in this journey to love, to be genuine lovers of people. The people in our lives, the people that we encounter. God, I know that this, even though it's me speaking, it's a human voice here on stage, I know your Spirit is resonating your message inside of many hearts here this morning. I know you are, God. I sensed it walking into this place this morning. Some of us, God, need courage to love those who haven't earned it from us. Some of us, God, we try, but at some point we end up failing in our ability to love. And so this morning, Lord Jesus, we open our minds and our hearts and our soul to the possibility, to the very real possibility, that you are the way to love. And so, those of you here this morning, while we're still praying, just as we continue this prayer, I think some of you are here and you love this church. You love your life. You have a good career. Even in this economy, maybe. You'd say, oh, I'm fortunate. But maybe you don't really love those who are undeserving or unlovable because real love hasn't gotten inside of you, taken hold of your life. And I'm just here to tell you this morning, this is going to sound like a pastor, but I have lived this now, and I know it to be true for me. Christ is the source of love. He is. So I just encourage you this morning, sitting where you're sitting, just in the quiet of your heart, just tell him, I need you, Jesus, to be in me what I can't be on my own. Will you come in? Will you come into my heart and my soul and start to make something happen that I can't make happen? Make me a lover of the people around me, regardless of what they do for me or what they give to me. We're going to close with the song, and I'm going to ask you to just sit back and just let the words of the song wash over you. Let the words of the song fill your soul, and maybe this is the time for you and Jesus to have this communication, for you to talk to him. I've been resisting. God, I've been resisting the love of your Son. And I let go. I let you come in and take control of my life. Okay, let's do that now.